Any day now, I shall be released. Any day now, I shall be released. I am opening, my heart is ready to see. I am opening, my heart is ready to see. I am opening, my heart is ready to see. So with my word, I declare that this is open, that this meeting of the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton, our regular Sunday meeting, is open. And I declare for everyone here that the willingness to receive all that's good in this experience of life is ours, that we are all ready to affirm that anything which might interfere with that realization is allowed to drift away like smoke on a summer's morning. So I say right here, right now, that I am glad to see everyone here, and I'm glad to know that there are people out there in virtual land listening, and I know for each one that they are blessed, and what's as important is they know they're blessed. So I release this treatment into law by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
I am opening, my heart is ready to see. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. Here is John.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. This week I was part of a discussion group and we were talking about, are we a religion or are we a spiritual group or what are we? And one person came up with this wonderful statement. We are a group of like-minded people who come together to support each other in growing in consciousness and all the qualities that we want to bring into our lives in the world. Are we a religion? Are we something? I don't know. But we're a group of like-minded people. That's what we are. And what we are also is we are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. And I'm Jon Heron. I'm a practitioner here, and I'm the spiritual director of the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. Welcome, many of you that are at home. Today we have this wonderful opportunity to hear a talk by Lori Carlson, who is a wonderful speaker. We're in for a treat. She is a practitioner at our center in Morristown, and so that's a wonderful thing. Next Sunday, we have Reverend Karen Kushner, and she is always an interesting speaker, so please make sure to join us next Sunday. After that, we have Susan Neat. Our practitioner, Susan Neat, will speak, and followed by Reverend Michelle Wadley, who we all know. And then our next Zoom talk, the first week in September, it's going to be September, will be by Reverend Christina Tillotson, who we've seen once, a good friend of mine who was totally responsible for the online university, the online teaching of classes for the Centers for Spiritual Living. So that's what we have coming up on Wednesdays at 11:45. Susan Mead runs this most wonderful, short peace meditation. And the link, it's done over Zoom. The link is on our webpage, cslprinceton.org. It's also on our Facebook page, CSL Space Princeton. So come and join one of the wonderful things that's going on to support us together to grow in consciousness. Because as I've been learning ever more, the law responds to consciousness. You raise your consciousness and your life changes. It's sort of at the basis of this teaching. So welcome again and enjoy the service.
Lori's sweater.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? And how you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you that you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle, and how you're connected to my soul? We could do it one more time if you want to join. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle, and how you're connected to my soul?
Out if you would. So good morning again.
Good morning.
And so this is our opportunity now to focus here. We're handing out a meditation that we're going to do together today. What's the reason for us to come together on Sunday morning? We could all stay home. We could all watch on video. But there's something that happens when a group of like-minded people are in a room together, focused on spirit. And that's why we're here. And so I would like to, I was going to say lead us in the minute. We're all leading ourselves in our connection with spirit. And let's use this to do that. So I'm going to read this meditation once. If you like, you can close your eyes and just focus on it. And then we're going to do it a second time, and all of us holding on to that connection with spirit. We're all going to read it together. So take a nice deep breath. It's beautiful outside, but here we are in here together. And so let's send outside any concerns that we may have been holding on to that are not about who we are in spirit. And so take a nice deep breath if you're inclined to. Connect with that place within you, that place that's always alive, that is simply waiting for you to say, "Oh, I forgot you were there. I'm with you now." And follow along in your mind with this meditation. I now open my heart and let the pure essence of unconditional love pour out. I see it as a golden light radiating from the center of my being. I feel its divine vibration in and through me, above and below me. I am one with the light. I am filled with the light. I am illumined by the light. I am the light of the world. And now allowing yourself to stay connected in your heart. For those of you who are here, let's read this together. I now open my heart and let the pure essence of unconditional love pour out. I see it as a golden light radiating from the center of my being. And I feel its divine vibration in and through me, above and below me. I am one with the light. I am filled with the light. I am illumined by the light. I am the light of the world. And so, being aware that this consciousness is present, this light is present in this room for all who are here, in the hearts and minds of each one who may be participating digitally. This is the truth that I know for this service, for CSL Princeton, for everyone involved in any way. I know that this universe is infinite living blessing. Blessing is what is present in, as, and through everything. And therefore, it is present in this service, as this service, and through this service, and in, as, and through each one participating. And so I declare that each one is fully conscious of the presence of this truth living within them. And this consciousness now has expanded and filled this space, this physical space and the heart space that each one lives in. And so I know that each one is now finding that divine presence expressing in every aspect of their lives, physically as perfect health, mentally as clarity, spiritual clarity, emotionally and spiritually, as the divine presence in every aspect of each one's life. Joy is present, love is present, peace is present. I am so blessed to know this truth, and I'm grateful for it. And I release it to the law. The law already knows it. The law has already said yes, because that's what the law does. And so it is done. And we say together, and so it is.
There's a silence in the morning when the stars still linger low, and I sit there with my longing for a truth I've yet to know. Not a whisper, not a thunder, but a stillness drawing near, when the heart begins to wander and the soul begins to clear. I'm diving deep where the current runs slow, where the dreamer meets the doer and the river starts to flow. In the chamber of the heart where the seeds of wonder grow, I'm diving into the all I've come to know. So I'll rise with my devotion to the work and to the flame. Let the winds of pure emotion carve a truth I will not name, for the flow is ever guiding, like a river flows the sea, and the art is in the finding of the love that flows free. I'm diving deep where the voices are all still, where the quiet paints a vision and the pulse begins to will. In the garden of the mind, love is shaping every hill. I'm diving deep, and the world begins to fill. It's not a gift that's given, it's a song that's always sung, a melody eternal in the air and on the tongue. Creation is a prayer, not for pleading but for praise. In the fire and the artist, in the dawn and all our days, I'm diving deep in the wellspring inside, where the silence turns to color and the soul forgets to hide. In the stillness of the source, I no longer need to try. I'm diving deep in the heart that paints the sky. I'm diving deep in the heart that paints the sky. It gives me the greatest pleasure to welcome to our podium Lori Carlson, the great, whose energy could power a small city if we could only get a hold of it and contain it. But here she is.
Good morning, good morning. It is a pleasure to be back in Princeton. I love it here, and this is a new space for me. So I'm going to be talking to you today about revealing the inner beauty that is already within you. And it's perfect for we're going to be diving deep into that beauty, and as we did in the opening prayer circle at the beginning, talking about the qualities of God, the qualities of the divine, beauty is one of those qualities. So it is important for us to remember that appearance is not essence. right? A lot of times we get stuck in appearances, and we know in this teaching that appearances are not the truth of us. So, with that being said, I have a little metaphor for you, and I have a fun little spiritual practice. But first I want to know, how many of you know what this is? Oh yeah, okay. So it looks like a black card, right? It looks like just refuse, kind of like, what's interesting about that? It's a black piece of paper. But guess what? There is something interesting about this. This is scratch art. Do any of you remember that from childhood? I used to make them with crayons. You put all the colors and then you put the black crayon on top. Now they sell them already made. But the idea is that it is the knowing that changes everything. Because when you know what it is, when you know that underneath the black there are amazing colors, it changes how you see it, right? It becomes something that's not just a black square or something that you might toss aside. It becomes an invitation to create, to discover, to know something different. Well, you're going to have little styluses when you do it. But the idea is that knowing changes everything. So what is it that we know in this teaching? Right? What is it John said to you? We know that God is all there is, right? Isn't that what we say? There is no spot where God is not. God is everywhere, in, as, and through each of us and everyone else and everything else. So if beauty is a quality of the divine, and the divine is everywhere present, therefore, beauty must be everywhere present. Even when you don't see it, even when it's hidden behind layers of black, because that is often what happens to us in life, right? We let circumstances, experiences, fears, resentments, judgments, opinions, all these things, we let them cover over our inner beauty, and sometimes they make us forget who we really are. But we know in this teaching that we are expressions of the divine. That inner beauty is there, and it doesn't take someone else to make an opinion about it. It does not go away. You may not see it, and you may not feel it all the time because we have that disconnect, right? We remember, we forget. We remember, we forget. How many of you looked in the mirror this morning and went, beauty? I know I didn't. I went, oh my God, another dark spot. So, oh my God, I didn't sleep well. But here's the thing. This is what we do on a spiritual journey, is that we take a pause and we think about that, and we go, oh wait, I am not just this appearance. I am beauty, because I am a spark of the divine that is all beauty. And I often consider, what is it about beauty that really moves us, right? Like, why are we in awe of a beautiful sunset, or when we see a beautiful piece of art, or something that we consider beautiful? Why is there this deep soul moment? And I think this teaching would tell you that it's not because there's some creation of the divine out there that's awe-inspiring. It's because it reminds us of that place within us that is also beauty. It reminds us of the oneness and the connection. And so when we see that awe-inspiring thing, there's just this little vague recollection within you. That's like, oh yes, that's in me too. And the more you pay attention to it, the more you become aware of it, the stronger that grows. So, the definition of beauty is a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic senses. Well, I don't like that so much as a definition of beauty. I prefer Edna St. Malay's definition of beauty, which is, beauty is whatever gives joy. And I think, for me, I find beautiful what brings me joy, right? And that means that it doesn't have to be just a beautiful sunset or, nature. It can be the laughter of a child, right? It can be someone gently putting their hand on your shoulder when you need comforting. Whatever brings you joy connects you to the oneness. It reminds you that you are not alone and that you are one with Spirit. And that is beautiful. I think if we really knew that, like it comes back to what I said at the beginning, it's the knowing. If we really knew that, if we really knew that we were one with the divine, that beauty is within us, and that beauty is joy, we would see it and find it everywhere, right? It would change everything. It would change how we interact with people and how we see the world. Henry David Thoreau says, it's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. And that's like one of my all-time favorite quotes, because I think it speaks to exactly what we on a spiritual path are trying to do. What's out there doesn't necessarily change, but how I see it changes. And that's something I can control. For me, I'm always talking about choice and awareness. It's a choice. It's a choice to choose to look for the beauty. It's a choice to remember that we are one with the infinite beauty, and as such, we are sparks of that. So, I have lots of quotes here, but I also have stories, right? Always. So, a couple weeks ago, I was walking down the beach. It was my second beach day all summer, but I was walking down the beach, and in the distance, there was something on the shore. Where I go, there's no people. So, there was just something on the shore, and I was like, oh, wow, look at that form. Like against the sky and the sand. It looks really beautiful. I was just like, oh, look. And then as I got closer, I realized it was a piece of garbage on the beach, right? And so my first reaction was, oh, it's garbage. And then I took a pause and I remembered, oh, Lori, from back there, you thought it was beautiful. So there is an element of beauty because I chose to see it as beautiful. Are any of you familiar with those artists who make art out of garbage? Right? They make these amazing, like a lot of them are sculptural. They take the things that we see as valueless and refuse and garbage and the things that we discard, and they create something beautiful out of it because they see the potential. They see the beauty that is there, even in a piece of garbage washed up on the beach. And that is the invitation, right? That is always the invitation. I'm very fortunate because I have a lot of people in my life that help me to look for the beauty. I have a friend who takes photographs of brick walls, and I'm like, now I see brick walls differently because he likes the texture and the pattern and the way they erode. So now I see that and I see it differently. I have a friend who collects wood and makes beautiful sculptures out of found pieces of wood. So now when I walk through the woods, every piece of wood I see, I'm like, oh, what would Fred make out of that? And so it makes me look at things differently. I'm looking for the beauty. And when I ride my bike through the woods and the shadows of the leaves are on the path, I used to just be like trying to get my exercise in, right? Trying to move. And now it takes me twice as long because I'm always stopping. And I'm always like, wow, look at the way those leaves are moving. Wow, look at that tree that got hit by lightning and the sculpture. Look what I see in that. And it's a choice and an awareness and a perspective to choose to look for the beauty that is all around us. But it is even more important to recognize the beauty within. So, we all know that expression, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Anybody not heard that? Well, I read that H.G. Wells says beauty is in the heart of the beholder. And I kind of like that because it brings it into a place of where loving compassion affect how you see beauty. But I think, and according to what Jon was just saying up here, I would say beauty is in the consciousness of the beholder. Because when you know that there is beauty in everything, you are more willing to look for it. Has anybody ever heard that psychology experiment they did with the red cars, where they say, somebody says to a group of people, there's so many red cars, and then you go out and suddenly you're amazed by how many red cars you see, right? Because someone has brought it into your consciousness, and now you see it. So when you bring the awareness of beauty into your consciousness, you will begin to see it everywhere. I also love this quote by Salma Hayek. People often say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I say that the most liberating thing about beauty is realizing you are the beholder. This empowers us to find beauty in places where others have dared not look, including inside ourselves. Well, that's the whole point, right? It gives you the power when you recognize that you are the beholder. It's your consciousness. You have the ability to choose. I also love, Confucius says, everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Now, I used to think that meant some people have more artistic temperament, right? You know, some people are better at it than others. And now I know that it's a choice. It's a consciousness. It's an awareness that when you look for it, you will see it. And that's so true of people too. Knowing that there's divine beauty within you means that it's also in everyone else. And it's a conscious choice to choose to see it. And I believe that when you see it, feel it a little more. We're going to do a little practice with this. Susan has one for everyone, and we're going to do a little practice with the stylist, because we're going to experience what it's like to reveal our inner beauty and to let go of all of those things in life that have covered over the beauty with black. Because, you know, life happens, right? And those things happen. But in a spiritual community, we get to do it together, like Jon said, people of like mind, right? We get to hold that space and know that truth for one another. Alan Cohen said, "Those who love you are not fooled by mistakes you have made or dark images you hold about yourself. They remember your beauty when you feel ugly, your wholeness when you are broken, your innocence when you feel guilty, and your purpose when you are confused." They remember, right? They remember because it's already there. And that's like the important thing, to know that it's already there, to know that beneath whatever black, whatever you have been hiding behind or have allowed to cover up your beauty, it is already there. And this practice of being on a spiritual journey is not about creating it, it's about revealing it. It's about uncovering it. Right? How many of you are familiar with that famous Michelangelo quote? I Googled this, and there's like something about whether he really said this or not, but about, you know, how did you create the David? And he says, I just chipped away everything that was not David, right? So here's the thing. If we are beauty, and we are because we are sparks of the divine, then our job is simply to scratch away at everything that wants to hide our beauty. To let go of everything that dims our light, right? That beautiful meditation that Jon led. So I'm going to invite you now to just take a moment. Close your eyes, take a breath, and think of one thing that you have allowed to cover over your inner beauty. Whether it's something someone said to you as a child, or a judgment you have, or a fear you have, or a physical condition, whatever it is, something that is separating you from your divine beauty, because that is the essence of who you are. Everybody have something? Now, you're going to open your eyes and you're going to make a scratch on the paper and you're going to consciously let go of that thing. You're going to remove it. Let go, release it. And then I want you to look down and see the color and see the beauty beneath the black that you have revealed. It doesn't have to be in any particular shape. You know, if you want to get artistic about it, you can. The idea is that it's a spiritual practice of revealing what is already there. And when you know it's there, it turns it into a different experience. So I'm going to also invite you to, all right, everybody good with that? You're going to take these cards home. And I'm going to invite you to do it as a spiritual practice this week. So every day, you make another mark and release something else that has been covering up your beauty. But there's another way we can use this, and that is to scratch away at what is covering someone else's beauty so that you can see them without the judgments or whatever it is that has been covering up their beauty in your consciousness, right? Because it's how we see. So I'm going to invite you now to close your eyes again and to bring to mind someone whose beauty you find difficult to see in this moment. Someone who you're struggling with, someone who is just not bringing up the idea of divine beauty for you. And then, with conscious intention and love, I want you to make a mark on your paper and scratch away, let go a little bit of whatever that is. And that mark you're making is a sign of your willingness to see differently, of your willingness to look beyond. Because what if instead of looking at people and saying, what's wrong with them? We said, what has life done that has covered over their beauty? Or what are they not aware of in their consciousness that has covered over their beauty? If we looked for that beauty and called it forth and helped them to reveal it for themselves, what a world this would be, right? If we could, and we know that it's all one mind, that what we do in our consciousness affects everyone. So if we let go of the black that is covering over our view of other people, if we are willing to scratch away at some of that judgment, opinion, fear, separation, whatever it is, then we will allow in the one mind for more beauty to be revealed. Does that make sense? Right? That's what we believe. That's what we teach. So it's a practice. It's not something that we all do perfectly right away. It is a practice. And if you've ever heard me speak before, you'll know that one of my mantras is daily practices, right? So it's what small act, what are you going to do to show your willingness to look for the beauty? What can you change right here, right now? To, like, as you're scratching on your card, what is one way that you can show the law that you are willing to see differently? That you're willing to see that piece of garbage on the beach as beauty. That you're willing to see, excuse me for saying this, but that garbage in others, right? That stuff we don't like in others. That you're willing to see past that. To look past circumstances and conditions and appearances and all those things that separate us to the beauty within. And it always comes back to the knowing. It always comes back to remembering that no matter what it looks like, when you really know that there's beauty, that there's color, when you really know that that is within each of us, then you act differently, you think differently, you behave differently. And I'm not saying that there isn't a lot out there that I, don't like, that I don't see as beauty, but I try to remember that behavior is not being, right? we can still say someone is divine, has the spark of the divine, has beauty within them, when their behavior doesn't show that. But we separate the behavior and the being. We recognize the divinity within, even and especially when their behavior is not demonstrating it. And as we see it, like I said, as we refuse to get stuck in the behavior and the appearance and demand to see past to that beauty, we allow it to be revealed. We invite it, right? So that's, I think, who I want to be in this world. I want to be that person that brings that forth in others. And, okay, so I have this quote that I have to say. Khalil Gibran, when you reach the heart of life, you shall find beauty in all things, even in the eyes that are blind to beauty. When you reach the heart of life, you shall find beauty in all things, even in the eyes that are blind to beauty. Well, that's where we all want to be, right? In the heart of life, in the consciousness of oneness, seeing the beauty in everyone. I know that's where I want to be. Do I live there? No. Do I try to get there? Yes. Do I have daily practices that help me? Yes. Do I do my affirmations, my spiritual mind treatment, my meditation? Do I have prayer partners? All of the things that help us remember what we know. You know, classes, workshops, readings, teachings, to remember that the knowing changes everything. And when you can internalize that knowing and know that deep beauty for yourself and others, it changes the world. It simply has to. That's what we believe, right? It's one mind, one consciousness, and the world needs us more than ever to see that beauty, to call it forth, and to magnify it, because what we pay attention to magnifies. So if you pay attention to the beauty in others, you will create and bring forth more beauty. So I challenge you all to bring your card home, make it a practice, and eventually, I stopped because I kind of like the pattern, but the idea is eventually we want all the black to be gone. We want to be just a shining expression of beauty and color. We want to scratch away everything that separates us from knowing and living as the true beauty that we are. I think my time's up, so I will challenge you to go home and do that, and to enjoy the process of letting go of the dark in your life.
All right, now we're going to have our offertory. Yes.
So we talk about the qualities of God that we can bring in our lives. My personal belief is that grace is the presence of spirit. And it's often taught in religions that grace is something not deserved. No, we all deserve grace. And grace is the universe. I fully believe that. Infinite giving of the one to itself as each of us. There is no limit to it. And this being so, this is our chance to express that. There are so many ways to express it. And obviously, CSL Princeton, we pay rent for this place, and we need to be supported. But the other side of that, just like Lori was saying, the beauty is not what we look at, but where we look from. I forget the exact quote, right? And so there's an opportunity here now. And yes, this is about us collecting money. We need money. Please go to our website, cslprinceton.org, and make a donation. But we're fine, and we know that we are supported by Spirit. This is one way of doing it.
Abundance flows, a sacred stream, from mind divine to life's grand dream. No lack, no loss, just boundless grace, infinite wealth in time and space. I think I speak and so it grows. The law of good forever flows. My thoughts are seeds, my faith is strong. Consciousness sings my wealth's sweet song. I claim my good, I stand in line. Prosperity shines clear and bright. No fear, no doubt, just trust, just know. From source within, all riches flow. Abundance flows, a sacred stream, from mind divine to life's grand dream. No lack, no loss, just boundless grace, infinite wealth in time and space.
And so in the presence of this grace, in the presence of this infinite giving, I know that that grace is in every atom, every quark, every cell of every body. It's what we are. We are grace, the infinite giving of the one to itself as each one of us. And so I declare that each one goes out now into their world filled with grace, offering grace to themselves, offering grace to everyone that they meet in every situation that they experience. And I know that this upcoming week is filled with grace. And each one remains conscious of the presence of grace. Each one grows in that consciousness. Each one lives in that consciousness for themselves, for those around them, and for the whole universe. And this being so, I'm so grateful to know this truth. And I know that it is already in the law. And the law says yes. And when the law says yes, it is so. And so we say together, and so it is.
Because I asked her to do the closing preview because she's the speaker.
Oh, I just, okay, if you want to do another treatment, I can always.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So,
Double treatment.
double treatment day, yes. So let's just close our eyes. And in this beautiful consciousness of oneness, in this recognition of the divine that exists in, as, and through each of us, I speak this word for all. That right here, right now, we recognize and are willing to recognize the beauty within each other, the beauty within ourselves, and the beauty within all things. That beautiful grace is the grace of beauty. It is God expressing. It is Spirit showing up. And we, as people in this journey together, as people of like mind, look for the beauty and call it forth. And I know right here, right now, that this power, this presence, this energy, this willingness goes forth as joy to empower, support, and uplift each of us in our daily lives as we call forth and notice more and more beauty around us in every moment, in every way, and in every person we meet. How blessed are we? And so with deep gratitude for this beautiful teaching, for this beautiful community, for this opportunity to speak the word and to recognize the beauty in each of you, I say thank you. And I release this word into that ever-present and loving law that does unto us as we believe. And as I believe in the word spoken, I know that it is already done. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Lori. Let's hear for Lori.